All right, we will call to order the City Council and Planning and Zoning Joint Plan Development Workshop for July 18th, 2022, 6:30 p.m. We just called to order that. Roll call and City Council and certification of quorum. Madam Secretary, I will certify that the City Council does have a quorum present as all members are present. With that, I'll turn it over to the Planning and Zoning Chairman for the certification of their quorum.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight we have Commissioner Boswell, myself, Commissioner Dansby, and Commissioner Eisenberg, and the other three are absent. Do I need to list those?
All right, thank you for that. Moving forward in our agenda, one thing that is left off of the agenda, Mr. Provins or Mr. Coker, is citizens' comments is not listed as an item on our agenda. Is it okay to allow this allow this gentleman to speak?
As it's not posted on the agenda, no, sir. The joint public workshop would come for the public comments. Oops. I thought we had a section on the joint workshop for citizen comments.
We normally do, but it's not listed here.
Excuse me, Mayor Cole. Yes, given the fact that that's not on there, I think it'd be appropriate to go ahead and allow the citizen to speak.
Go ahead and allow?
Yes.
It is our custom, for whatever reason, it's left off of here.
Okay. But I think I still allow the member of the public, just not engaging in interaction with them.
Okay, very good. So with that, we do have one citizen that did sign up to speak, Mr. David Robson, excuse me. If you go to the podium in the back, right back there, give your name and address. Should have 3 minutes on a clock up here to be able to speak for 3 minutes, and we appreciate you being here tonight.
My name is David M. Robson. I live at 2433 Amino Drive in Bellalita. And all I had to say is I do a lot of I do a whole lot of stuff on my computer, and I don't think this is going to be a good thing. I think that with a number of people up here, you know it's going to be very top, very hard, and it's, I think, 14 feet from when a 4-foot drop, and there's no way to stop that water. When we had the hurricane, I went around, and it was wet, about maybe 9 feet. And in front of my house, it was 36 inches. And I was in fine shape. But I also don't think that what Ms. West is trying to do, or I think that it's not a good thing for Bella Vita. That's it.
All right,
and Mayor, if I could follow up, not intending to dialogue with the gentleman, but I believe that his comments are meant for an item on the Planning and Zoning Commission agenda. It's going to be under new business item number 1 regarding a different item that is not pertaining to the joint workshop that we're having right now.
Yeah, so I was going to say that for the audience. We have a joint planned a joint plan development workshop between the City Council and our Planning and Zoning Commission on a completely unrelated item to what the folks from Bella Vita are here to watch and weigh in on. That's going to be in the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting separately after we get through with this planning and this joint workshop. So if you'll bear with us to get through this joint workshop, we will hand it over to the Planning and Zoning Commission on the item that you've got. But we do appreciate you coming out. We do appreciate the comments. It's always important for you to weigh in and step up, and we appreciate the comments tonight. All right. So with that, we're going to move forward with the purpose of our workshop. I'll just read it in. It's a request by Jennifer Evans, Signature Companies, applicant on behalf of PHE-Fite Interest LP and Tranquility Lake Estates LLC owners for a plan development workshop as required by the Unified Development Code to discuss a proposed townhome development on 2 tracts of land totaling approximately 12.4178 acres. With that, I'm going to turn it over to planning staff for your presentation and comments. I'm not sure, Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. So this workshop will be conducted in the following format. We'll have staff's report. Following that, we'll have the applicant presentation. Afterwards, we'll have council, commission, and staff discussion, followed by an adjournment to this item. As stated, this is for a planned development on 2 tracts of land that are at the northeast quadrant of Cullen and Fite Road. And for the staff report, I'll turn it over to Mohammed to deliver that.
Thank you, Martin. And good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council and the Planning Zoning Commission. As I stated before, the purpose is to discuss and provide the applicant with feedback on the proposed townhome development on 2 tracts of land totaling approximately 12.4 acres, and it's located at the northeast quadrant of Cullen Parkway and Fite Road. The 2 tracts are currently undeveloped, as you can see that in the aerial map, and the adjoining 1.79 acres tract located at the hard corner, as you can see, hard corner of Cullen Parkway and Fite Road, that is not part of this planned development, and it will remain as a zone general business. Moving to the next slide is this is the zoning map, and it shows that the property is surrounded by a general business from the north and west, and by general commercial from the east, as well as the R1 district from the east as well, and then neighborhood service and R2, residential R2 from the south side. Just going really quickly on the surrounding line uses, the property is surrounded by undeveloped tract to the north, again, by the Tranquility Lakes subdivision, as well as warehouses to the east, and by a gas station and the Southwick subdivision to the south. And then from the west side across Pearland Parkway is the office and retail. Moving to the next slide is the future land use plan, and it shows the property designated for retail, offices, and services, and that's just to accommodate a variety of office and retail development. The next slide is the proposed design plan, and it shows the development consists of approximately 109 for sale, 2-story townhome units. These homes will, again, for sale, and will be a minimum of 25-foot wide lots, and it will be fenced in with a perimeter metal fence with brick columns, and the primary entries will be from Cullen Parkway as well as from Fite Road, and there'll be additional emergency access as well to Fite and Chocolate Bayou Road as well. The main deviation from this development is from the base zoning regulations is just the lot size, the minimum lot width, which will be decreased from 30 to 25. Again, approximately 109. There may be some additional deviations that may need to be written in the PD when we get to the PD itself. I think I have a few slides of how the development will look like. Those are images from another project that was done by the builder that will be taken on this project if this would to be approved. And as you can see, these are attached townhomes, masonry product, incorporation of different materials on the facade, and they're all front entry townhomes. And that concludes the staff report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mohammed. I see Jennifer in the back. Do you have a presentation tonight?
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Evans. Planning presented it well. Last time we were here with West Development, we weren't playing well in the sandbox together, but tonight we're here together. We are excited about this housing opportunity for Pearland. For the most part, because of how it lays out, you see there's a lot of green space area, which we're quite excited about. We have been working with KHOV, and this is a product that they have built in other markets. So we've designed the lot size around that, which is why we're having to do a PD, is because it is a variance to the lot size, as called out in the ordinance. I think the other variance would be the fencing along Cullen. We pulled it. We don't have the 30-foot setback. We pulled it up. But we've done we've proposed, iron and brick columns to give the expanse. So you can see the green space area. Again, we just looking at it just holistically, we thought coming down Cullen, that gives just a nice green aspect to the development. But I know we've got a busy evening tonight, so I don't want to take up a lot of time, but if there are questions, I have a representative from KHOV here, and then I have Justin from West Development as well.
Wonderful. Does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
As always, we may have some questions, so we'll get to that here in just a second. We're going to go to planning and zoning first. But real quick, Martin, I think at one point in time, this tract was zoned with a PUD on it for townhomes. And then you guys came in and went back to general business, if I recall.
Mayor, that may be before my history.
I got a lot of history, and for some reason I remember townhomes being discussed at one point, and here we are potentially back. But anyway, so with that, Chairman, I'm going to turn it to you guys first to get your questions, comments, and concerns on the table.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commissioner Eisenberg?
As far as the neighbors and stuff around there, has there been any input from them? I mean, right now it's just have they been notified in any way or shape or form, or is this just strictly coming to us first and then it'll go to them and stuff?
I think typically I'll let Martin speak to the schedule of events.
Yeah, so Commissioner Eisenberg, for a workshop, it's typically a conversation in between the applicant and the P&Z and the council. So we'll go through normal notification when they do make their application.
All right. And I did hear that they said that these were for sale. They're not going to be the build and rent out or anything. We always talk about density and stuff, and finding a place to put some of the townhomes and stuff is always difficult, because a lot of times you get neighbors that don't want to see it come in as such. But looking at this and the area that it's in, if we're going to have a high density and have townhomes stuff, I don't see anything really wrong with this area right here. So that's all I got to say.
I just had a quick question, Ms. Evans. I'm not holding you to this number by any means. Do you have any anticipated thought as far as price point?
I think I let KHOV speak to that.
Okay.
My name is Rodney Howardson. I'm with Cavnanian. We would be the builder on the project. It's very early, as you can imagine, to project prices, but generally speaking, this type of product, given the location and the land and lot cost, we would be in the high 200s and lower 300 sales price.
Okay. Obviously council and others have talked about the diversity in housing and the community and the price point. This is going to price it out of a lot of normal, whatever you want to call normal folks, starter homes. But I mean, the average, and I'll get the numbers wrong, but I think the average house price in the city of Houston is right at 300 for a starter home now these days, and that's unfortunate. I mean, bought my first house in Shadow Creek, I think it was 150, 175, something like that. I mean, it was 12, 15 years ago now, but and times changed and the cost of building isn't getting any cheaper, that's for sure. But I don't want a cheaper product. Sure would wish we would get it priced a little more convenient for folks to be able to get into the market, to buy it, to be an owner. I mean, we all know that vested ownership breeds better folks in your community. So less transient, less in and out. But the product wise, I think location is fine with me. I had some concerns about ingress and egress off of some of the roads, but that's technical. That'll get shuffled around with some of the with staff's work with them and fire exits and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to get too far in the weeds on all that. So other than that, I think the product is needed. I think we talk about it a lot in this area, so I'm okay with it.
Very good.
I agree with some of the comments already said. I do think the product is definitely needed for the area. I like where it's going to be located. To his point about the pricing, that would be a concern for me. It is a townhome, and just making sure that pricing makes sense in this area. Of an average point for Houston is at 300, and we're more in the suburbs. So I would just keep that in mind. Also, with the visuals I saw, I would just want the price point to match the product as well as the look of the product. That's all. Thank you.
The area itself, and I'll try to be brief. The area itself, I wish I knew the name of that big lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. It's almost a regional detention. It's so large. There's multifamily all around that parcel. So this, to me, this fits in. It's a good fit for the area. I drive it, so every day, pretty much. I drive past that location. I did notice one small thing, and it's very minor. The fencing along Fite Road on one of the renditions showed a wooden fence, and on the next rendition or next page, it was an wrought iron fence. So I'd prefer the wrought iron. I think it, what I'm seeing, I'm putting two together, so I hope I'm not getting 22 here. The drives, it's almost front loaded. It seems like the back of the house, I don't know if you're going to make it look like a front of the house or not, but it seems like that back of the house is what's going to get the view of Fite and some of the other locations. So I would hope that you maybe put a wrought iron fence if there's windows and such back there. There was a previous applicant on the northern portion, that northern tract that came through, and the citizens of that little L shape, I believe it was a KHOV product there, they came out in force. And so one of their big items was that they wanted to keep the gate. They were promised the gate. They wanted to make sure that stayed. I didn't see anything here that changed that. I think it's an emergency only, and very okay with that. But they did come out, and they came out in force. So I don't know if that's something you want to reach out to them. And then I also, last little thing, I didn't notice a lot of or any detention. I'm assuming y'all are going to get access to that. I see the head shake, so that's all the comments. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I will say one thing, and affordability is obviously a question, and gentlemen from KHUV can certainly attest. The number one issue facing the housing market today is affordability, even in the Houston area, which has been more affordable than most of the nation for years. Affordability and that's just land prices, construction prices, everything else, just where it's gone is forcing pricing up. So I know that's a concern that we've all had over over time. So with that, we're going to turn to council for questions, comments, concerns, and we'll start down here with Mr. Owens. Caught you with your mouth going. There you go. I know you put a piece of candy in your mouth, so I started with you.
You saw it. Then off of Fite Road, and I guess going north up through that, what kind of footage is that? 600 feet up through that intersection, or what? There's no other outage up there.
Talking about from that entrance all the way up to the Chocolate Bayou coming
next
in.
intersection up there.
Staff's going to check real quick.
Roughly 650.
Yeah, some of the concern on that is the distance in there, for it. So you had to get fire trucks or whatever in through there. So you would have a entrance off of Fite Road and one off of Cullen Parkway.
Can I respond? The main entrance is off of Cullen, and we would see that as an exit only onto Fite.
On the Fite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you got your gate up there. Is that your 911 gate?
The 911 gate would be as you come into that commercial track on the corner. And then at Old Chocolate, I believe that's a 911. It's a 911, yeah.
Yeah, that should be. I don't know what that other is down on Cullen Parkway down there where it feeds in, back into the area.
2 on Cullen. Yeah, there are 2 on Fite because it's a breakaway, an emergency as it comes out of the townhomes, but that exit would be for the commercial track once it's developed. So you wouldn't have any townhome traffic coming through that access unless it was an emergency vehicle.
Mr. Berry?
Can you give me a general idea of what the square footage per unit is, roughly?
They would range from 1,700 to probably 2,100.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of, this type of development over here. I think that, they have ample, access and egress, that kind of stuff. They have some green space. I'd always like to see a little bit more there, but I think you've used the space wisely. That's all I've got.
All right. Ms. Cade?
Everything, I think it looks good also. Everything they've said is, I agree with. I like the area it's in, and I thought the pictures y'all had, they look good. So I think the green space is set up nicely. Nope, that's it. It looks good. Thank you.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Thank you, Mayor. So I like to make this point every time we have a townhome product come up with these 25-foot lots. I think it's a great illustration. The typical home on a 60 or 70, whatever, linear foot frontage lot is going to bring in, let's say, $300,000, $350,000. And these are going to put $700,000-$800,000 of assessed value in the same amount of space. So it's really hard whenever we, as Member Owens mentioned earlier tonight, well, maybe in a different conversation, that, we oftentimes we build homes and just kind of assume that other things are going to come. But if the commercial doesn't come, if the industrial doesn't come, those homes typically don't generate enough revenue for cities to pay for the infrastructure to serve the people who live in those homes. So looking at this targeted density in a spot where I think it works, where I think it does work here, and trying to get that assessed value into a 25-foot lot to increase the amount that's coming into the city. Makes sense to me. It's something that I think we should be doing more of where we can. Obviously not everywhere, but where it works. I think this is a good-looking product. All the ingress egress stuff I think will get worked out where it needs to get worked out. And this is just a little silly comment, but I bet you when you build this, they're going to say, "I wish that cell phone tower looked like a palm tree." There you go.
I know.
All right, that's all. Thanks.
Member Carbone.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I think this is a good place for the use. It reminds me of Baker's Landing. We got some pushback there, but then it sold out extremely quick. So I think it's a good product. I guess the only hesitation will be, do the neighbors object? I guess those directly to the east. So I hope we can reach out to them, make sure we're compatible with them.
May I speak to that?
Please.
They have met with the neighborhood, and I will tell you that I had a resident call me to confirm that what was being said was as I would represent it as well. And her comment to me was, yeah, it was important that they not lose that gate and they keep their cul-de-sac, and she was supportive. So that was one call, but that did come to me.
Great, thank you.
Member Camcar?
Yeah, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I need to do a little gathering of information, but for the record, somebody who works in land and home building development. I have no relationship with K. Hovnanian. I know some of the members that work there, but we don't have a contractual relationship or business relationship, so I just want to put that out there. A couple of things on drainage. Where's the receiving stream, Robert, for this? Where is this water going? Because there's not any detention on this land plan that I can detect.
So with regards to this, it would take a look that it would go into the pond that is now presented right before you on the screen, and then from there it is pumped and flows up to Hickory Slough.
Do we have a rough idea of when that pond was made? Are they buying into this pond? Is that what's happening?
I believe that taking a look at the regional, I have to look back at this one, but that was set up to have regional capacity in there, but this was an old sand pit back in the day, and so there was a lot of, there was capacity associated with that. But yes, it is my understanding that there is capacity for that property. It was set up a long time ago.
Just for the applicant's benefit, would like the answer to that before they come back, because I'm happy if they do, but as we know, Atlas 14 is pushing our range standards. We've talked about that in previous meetings. The city of Pearland is moving their standards, and I don't want to go and put 107 lots that are at about 14:1 density, lots to the acre there without addressing that, because the worst thing that happens is you guys become very successful, and then the rest of it gets forgotten about, and then all of a sudden this area has some more issues. Second, in the write-up, Robert, we talked that FITE is slated for improvement here in the future. Is there a timeline around that based on what this memo says, that right-of-way is going to at some point get improved?
That current project, if we're talking about expanding Fite Road and rebuilding it to curb, gutter, and concrete, is a unfunded project. So there is no timeline associated. It's a project that we've identified through the thoroughfare plan and wanting to do, but there is no timeline to expand that project. It's an unfunded project.
Is there any right-of-way that needs to be taken from the seller at this point?
Right-of-way is always requested as required by to meet the thoroughfare plan. So to match, it would be an 80-foot wide right-of-way. No, 60-foot right-of-way, if I'm correct.
Has a request been made?
80 foot. Apologize, I'm looking over.
Has a request been made to set aside that right-of-way?
It's always made. It's always made during time of plat.
And the applicant is on board with that?
It's always made when?
It's always made and done.
At plat.
At plat.
You guys are on board. Okay, great. Drainage road. Only other thing I would say is I'm hesitant to give the variance from 30 to 25-foot lot. I've worked in our industry for 10 years. I've never done a lot less than 28. So I have hesitation there. I'm just uncomfortable there. But if you guys do the other items, I think I might be able to get there. Can we pull up the land plan? The masonry that abuts this, I would ask that the staff ask for something over and above what is the standard. I don't know, but there are certain areas where a lot of traffic goes there, and the product is entry level. I think we would all acknowledge, and it needs to have a certain look and feel. And if you've been to some of these previous meetings, there's a lot of people real upset when Sullivan Brothers doesn't show up. And the group that is associated with this is not Sullivan Brothers. And so just understand that there's a lot of hesitation starts creeping up here, and we've, I think, shot down 2 different applications because Sullivan Brothers or that type of a product was not here. And what Sullivan is selling at is 400,000. What we're being told is somewhere in the 200,000. Now, I'm happy because people will have an opportunity to get it home, but just understand you may have pushback between here and there. And so my advice to the applicant would be go to the neighborhood. If somebody is saying they support this, get that in writing, have them come to a meeting, because when the people say this isn't Sullivan Brothers, you're going to all of a sudden see a lot of people crawdad. So I hope this goes through. We desperately need housing, as the mayor says, but I think we need to keep the standard a little higher. And I think with some of the maybe improvements that would be asked along the right-of-ways, I think that might be able to get there. So thank you.
Good deal. Member Koza?
Commissioner Dansby and Member Barry already asked 2 of the questions I had. So looking at this project and looking at the product that you've presented here, I could get there on this type product. I think it would fit in the area that y'all are proposing. I think it'd be a nice complement for what's around it. So I could definitely get there, and that's all I've got, Mayor.
Good deal. Yeah, I just want to echo, typically, as you move from the major road of Cullen into the residential behind here, you're going to have some, and you're maintaining that commercial area. You're moving. You've got that buffer area. I've always thought townhomes, especially on a site this size, fits well, as that buffer, from the road all the way over to the single family. As been said, affordability, it is what it is, unfortunately. But at the same time, making sure that there's a good amenity structure. My assumption, mud, no mud, will this be annexed into the mud? Okay. So that would be an application ultimately coming back to us after an application for zone change. So, homeowners association, those types of things, maintaining all of this open space and amenities. So that's always important, that it's built, it's nice, it's good, but we want it to last. And so that's good for me. To Member Hernandez's point, one of our stated goals is, as we have these smaller tracks that go, especially if they're residential feel to it, we do want a higher dense, high value, high impact to it. And I think you're achieving that, to the point that Member Kamkar said, just making sure that it has a good look and feel, and amenities, help drive that. So with that, Mr. Chairman, do you guys have any further questions, comments? Good deal. Martin, you guys have any follow-up? Okay. With that, we will adjourn this docketed workshop at 7:08. Now, if you guys will